How's it going, everyone? It's Bomberman Dan with Clan Dino Gaming, and I'm bringing you a professional StarCraft 2 replay. Today's game is between EGHuK and myiStardust, as you can see, chatting to each other. This is in GameHeart, so I'm not quite sure what I'm doing with everything. Oh, there we go. It seems I got it to work. Maybe I can do this. I don't. Oh, no, that's not. Oh, that's not gonna work. Hold on. Oh, okay. So it looks like I can't get the little name thing at the top. Because we are in GameHeart. But as you can see in the bottom here, those are where the names are. So you'll just have to look there instead of the normal supply and everything. So anyhow, this was at DreamHack Valencia, the latest DreamHack, and we have our, I guess, not really favored to win EGHuK spawning at the top right-hand corner of the screen, but he's definitely a foreigner favorite among the most. Then we have myiStardust, the blue Protoss player, spawning the bottom left-hand side of the corner of the screen, and he has just recently won the latest DreamHack, taking out Jadong in a quite crazy couple of games, where he won with base races twice. So a really interesting player. Well, hopefully we'll see more of him in the future, but unfortunately did not do all that well. Well, actually, he did pretty well at DreamHack Valencia. Actually, I'm not gonna spoil it. We don't want to know who wins this game. So 13 gateways for both players, as we can see. EGHuK does have his kind of place, wherever. And then Stardust has his right behind the mineral line, so kind of similar placements. Simulator goes down for Stardust at 15. As with EGHuK, so similar build so far, not really too crazy. And that intro, did you see that intro? That intro was crazy. So that intro was, I guess, done by GameHeart. GameHeart's pretty cool. I don't know how to use it at all, but it's pretty awesome. So I won't be utilizing anything from. Okay, hold on. See, this thing's blocking stuff. All right. So just, it's a probe. We know what a probe is. Anyhow, EGHuK gets his second assimilator down. It's going to mine some gas. There's going to be a cybernetics core as well, so just standard builds from both players. There goes the cybernetics core. Oh, what the? No, never mind. Wait. Nah, that's cyber core. Thought that was a gateway for a second. Didn't know why. Thought Stardust was pretty bad if that was the case, but Stardust wins DreamHack, so I can't really call him that. So both similar builds. 21-21, 18-19, 19-19. Supply. So both players are getting their initial zealot, so no one's skipping that to go straight to the stalker. And I don't know if I mentioned that we're on Neoplanet S, but look at this nifty 337, 338, Neoplanet S right there, boom. So kind of interesting. Oh, it even says best of 3. So GameHeart's pretty cool, I guess, if you know how to use it. But unfortunately I don't, so that's a thing. We do see that Stardust is getting a Twilight Council first, so Blink Stalker player DTs could actually be what's going to happen here. EGHuK, on the other hand, doesn't have any tech out yet. He's getting a Sentry out here, but as we can see, he's got 220 and 148, or 150, I guess, and I don't know if he'll be looking to get an expansion here shortly, but it would be kind of risky off of one gate, so we'll have to see what he wants to do. Stardust, on the other hand, Twilight Council is going to finish up, and we'll have to see what goes down. And it looks like it's going to be a Dark Shrine. And okay, there's the Dark Shrine. So it looks like EGHuK was actually saving up minerals for a Nexus. So he did do a little bit, did a little one gate expand there. He's just poking around with the front, with his Stalker, so just to see what Stardust is doing. So he's going to throw down another robotics, or not another, but a robotics facility. So this is kind of greedy play. EGHuK is, I guess, would be known for his micro. He's not a bad player by any means, so taking a one-gate expand is something that he can do because he has the ability to. The Mothership core looking around, seeing if there were any pylons or anything like that, looking for pressure. However, Stardust does have a pylon in the bottom right-hand corner of the map. He can use that to warp in on. Maybe for his DTs or something like that. Another pylon does go right outside of EGHuK's forward Earth base. So EGHuK does have 2 sentries at the top of the ramp right now. If he does see the little slivery shadow of the DTs, he will be able to force field off and get an observer out in time. He is going for the Immortal first, so he will not have an observer out, I think, by the time these DTs get there. So we'll have to see if he has the micro to stop it. He did send out a hallucinated Phoenix with the one sentry, so that one will not have any energy for Force Field, but a Stalker is going to come down here. Maybe he'll see it, and it looks like he does not notice it, so one DT does get in, and it is focusing down the sentry. It gets one sentry out. He is going to Chrono Boost out the Observer, though, but we'll have to see how much damage that this DT does get off. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to see how many kills it actually does get, because this little interface is in the way, and I have no idea how to get rid of it. But it's killing probe after probe after probe, and it looks like he will get EGHuK will get an Observer out there. There is some pressure down here at his natural, though, and if he doesn't actually stop this, he actually could lose this Nexus. If Stardust would warp in a sentry, he could prevent EGHuK from moving down the ramp. EGHuK does move down the ramp. He does clean up the DT inside of his base, and is now going to move down and secure his natural. Stardust, on the other hand, is also getting his natural at the same time. Well, is getting it while he was attacking that base, as well as throwing down a robotics facility. So he is going to be going Robotech. So as of right now, there's going to be no Stargate. So normal Colossus battles, kind of like that thing, sort of like a Wings of Liberty-esque game going on right now. Aside for the minor things like, you know, easier to get DTs, and Stardust just kind of looking around the map, poking around, seeing if anything's out there. He does have these two pylons still on the right side of the map that EGHuK has not gone after yet. He will send his Mothership Core out, as I say that, to find the one, but there is another one at the bottom right-hand side corner of the screen that he might not be able to find. So a Warp Prism is coming out by Stardust, and we'll have to see if he's going to do DT drops or something like that, or just to use it as counter-attacking measures. But no robotics bay down from him yet, so maybe he will actually not be going for Colossus. I might have spoken a little too soon. He might try to end the game earlier with maybe a Mortal Archon Charlot, something like that. He does not have... I actually can't tell. So, you know, game art, it can be good for maybe live games, but unless I'm just too stupid and don't know how to get rid of this thing. But it's not the most optimal for replays, so you'll have to bear with me. But EGHuK just kind of getting units up, you know, getting his robotics bay. Actually, it would be easier if I... No, I will never be able to find out what their upgrades are with Game Heart. But there is going to be a Warp Prism drop right here. Good Sentry Force Field right there to prevent any units from coming in. So the only units that will be allowed up here will be units warped in on the high ground. There's an Immortal that's going to be out here soon, but there is a DT in the base as well as a lot of Zealots. And the DT is going to wrap up a few kills on these probes. The Observer does get there and he is in range, but good micro there by Stardust, keeping it from getting taken out too quickly. A Pylon does go down. The Mothership Core... does put down the Photon Overcharge, and an Immortal gets out to stop this Warp Prism. On the other hand, there was I think an Observer killed there. I'm not entirely sure. We could go back and look, but you know, I'm no Adabisi, so I'm not really looking around the map too much. But Stardust doing a great amount of damage this game, keeping EGHuK on his toes, keeping this gateway out of commission, just doing a lot of damage. And as you can see, there's only 12 workers in the main, and only 12 on the natural for the mineral patches. So EGHuK is losing a lot. Stardust has 17 at his natural and 18 at his main. So Stardust, I would assume, has the probe lead there. Templar Archives is down here for Stardust, so he can get, I guess, Storm, which isn't the greatest against a ground-based army for Protoss. Storm does do a lot of damage regardless of what units it's against, but it's much better against Void Rays and stuff that can stack. So it looks like this Warp Prism is just going to drop a DT down, and good micro there by Stardust, killing off 2 probes and getting out of there with no problem. A hallucinated Phoenix is going to come in here by EGHuK and see everything, so he won't have to worry too much about what's going on there. Pretty standard stuff. But I think the Templar Archives is going to actually be used for Archons, because the Archons, I guess, in a sense, are cheaper to make than the DT ones, because DT requires a lot of minerals as well, and almost the same amount of gas, while the High Templar Archons require a lot less minerals, so you can kind of go a lot more Zealot. You can make a lot more Zealots and Archons with High Templar Archons rather than Dark Templar Archons. So we are going to see... never mind, the Warp Prism's not going to go in, I guess. So EGHuK is just trying to stay at his base, stay stable. He did make a cannon in his natural mineral line, something that he didn't want to do, but since he thinks that Stardust is going to keep harassing with this War Prism that he has no ability to shut down because he does not have Blink because his Twilight Council has just finished and he has no air. It's going to be very difficult to shut that down. And he's going to throw down a High Templar Archives of his own, so he might be trying to go for those cheap Archons as well. I didn't mention this before, but Stardust did throw down his third, and is throwing down a Photon Cannon in the mineral line as well, just to kind of protect it, I suppose. And Stardust is going to have this nice early third lead if he can protect it. He does have the supply advantage, 127 to 104, so he's just going to try to push his lead a little bit harder and get this Nexus up a lot quicker before Stardust, or sorry, EGHuK. But EGHuK does have a good amount of units. He's got 3 Colossus that he's kind of hiding, not so much, everything's kind of spread out. Stalker's in position for the War Prism. A Hallucinated Oracle's going to come in here, kind of see everything, and it will see all of these Colossus. But as again I said, there's an Archon going down. There's no real purpose to have Storm 4 High Templars against a ground army from Protoss, so he's just going to use them as Archons, and as we can see, there's a lot of gateways being added on here. So it looks like EGHuK's actually just going to do this final 2-base all-in, because as we can see, it's the 15-minute mark, and it looks like he's not going to be going for third base. There's no probes in production at all. So I guess EGHuK's going to try to just end the game with a really strong 2-base push. Stardust, though, has a lot of Archons, a lot of Zealots, and a lot of Immortals, which could potentially be very damaging. The Archons are crucial because they can break through force fields. If he didn't have any Archons with this army, it would still be strong, but force fields could basically pull it apart. There's going to be a War Prism going into EGHuK's base, and we'll be dropping some DTs, but there is a cannon there. You will see that the armies are going to meet. Stardust does have a 20 supply lead, though, so it's going to have to be careful. The Archons are, or I guess the Colossus might have been going out front to take a couple hits off. These Zealots are going to bring EGHuK back into his base, and Stardust knows that he doesn't have a third, so Stardust must be feeling, you know, pretty good about his kind of position. You know, he doesn't have to push forward. As we can see, he's just kind of chilling back. He has his third up, fully saturated, basically. He has all his geysers kind of fixed up. And it looks like EGHuK's going to push forward with his 5 Colossus. But he needs to push forward soon, though, because the problem is Stardust is getting Colossus of his own, and he's making 2 at a time, and by the time these 2 come out, he'll actually have a much stronger army, because these Zealots will do a lot of damage here. He has a lot of them. The Archons right behind them will be doing splash damage as well, and then the Colossus behind that will be doing splash damage as well. So EGHuK's going to have to move out soon, and that's exactly what he's doing. He does have some Archons here, as well as a lot of Zealots and Immortals, and plenty of Colossus, but it looks like the 2 armies are actually going to pass each other here, and I will probably assume that that is not what I wanted to do. So there we go. I managed to fix that without too much of a problem there. And the 2 armies are going to pass each other. A big Zealot Warping in the main base, but will there be a base trade? And it looks like both players are actually just going to keep pushing into the base. No one player is actually going to pull out. So we'll have to see how this pans out. EGHuK's going to push in, kill the natural. I don't know if he's even checked if there was a third there. Cannons are going down for Stardust. Both players are going to essentially destroy all these bases. But it doesn't look like a probe has made it out here for EGHuK, because he didn't anticipate this being a base race. So I don't see a EGHuK possibly being able to get a probe out. A probe does move out there for Stardust, and that could potentially be a game-winning move if he can win this base race. So we'll have to see what's going to happen here. Stardust obviously has more buildings, and the supply is 120 to 160, but Stardust is supply capped, so he cannot make any more units. But these Colossus are in such a great position here for Stardust, killing so many Zealots, and actually doing a ton of damage there, dropping EGHuK to 83 supply, while he remains at 156. And I think EGHuK can't even push into these Colossus without losing too much of his army, and he's actually going to go back, and I think that seals the deal. I'm pretty sure Stardust wins. He has a mining base. EGHuK has absolutely no mining base, plus Stardust has a big army, so that's GG, and Stardust is the victor. So that's game number 1. Stay tuned for game number 2 to see if EGHuK can tie this up 1-1.